Welcome to the Nightly Rant. I'm Mike.
And I'm Torya.
This is the show where we talk about the awful things that have happened in our day, the awesome things that have happened in our day,
and all the things in between.
Thanks for listening, and we truly hope you enjoy. You have a new favorite word.
Do I? Is it jackass?
No, that would be you. The word is loon bag.
So you.
Do you know what loon bag means?
A bag of loons?
Yeah, I looked it up.
And they make weird sounds.
It up, and it says a bag of loons.
Have you ever heard the sound a loon makes?
Literally, that's the definition. What?
Have you ever heard the sound a loon makes?
No.
Oh, I won't make it for you into a microphone. That seems rude.
They're like a bird, aren't they? Like an actual loon, isn't it a bird?
Yes. You know, it's the one on the Canadian money, the loony.
I don't remember the loony. I only remember the toonie.
That has bears on it.
Yes.
Two of them.
I remember that. Two bears, because it's a toonie.
Uh-huh.
I remember that. But tell me why loon bag is like your new favorite term. What's going on that makes it your new favorite term?
Because lunatic just didn't seem strong enough. So essentially the person I was referring to is an entire bag of lunatics.
How do you figure?
Because they were too much crazy for one lunatic. So I would assume that a bag of lunatics has more than one lunatic in it. And it's also varying degrees are possible because you can fit multiple lunatics or only one or two lunatics into a bag.
This is true. And I think if that car alarm doesn't start beeping, I'm probably going to find the owner and slit their throat.
Did you mean stop beeping? Because you definitely said start.
Well, if I said start, I meant stop. But we'll see. That might make a great outtake later. Anyway. So it still doesn't explain what's going on that makes you keep using this word. I've asked the question 3 times.
But I told you already before we started that I wasn't talking about the topic that made me come up with the term loon bag.
That wasn't the question. Why would you look at somebody and say, gee, Arthur over there is a real loon bag? That was the question.
Maybe because he was particularly fucking crazy and acted like a giant bag of loons.
So you only can be a loon bag if you're crazy?
But that is the definition of lunatic.
But we're talking about loon, not lunatic.
And I already explained to you why I call it a loon bag.
Well, did you know that the Urban Dictionary defines loon? Because, of course, if the dictionary says loon bag is bag of loons, then you need to know what a loon is, right?
I guess. You're the one who
Urban Dictionary says an idiot. It doesn't say a crazy person. It says an idiot. And I was taken by surprise by that because I defined it the same way as you, as a crazy person.
This is why we don't use Urban Dictionary, because fucking loon bags write it.
And they don't want to be seen as crazy?
Precisely.
Well, it was bizarre to me because I was just checking to make sure we were on the right path, thank God. And I looked at that and I was like, well, as far as the definition of a loon bag it is, but we differ from them on what a loon is. We both think it's someone who's just crazy, like you said, short for lunatic, right?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to go to Urban Dictionary and add a definition.
Is that even possible?
Yes.
So it's like the old Wikipedia?
Yes.
Where it's wide open?
Why do you think that there's so many different examples of some of them? Have you ever looked up your name on Urban Dictionary?
Lady, if I looked at Urban Dictionary 3 times in the last 3 years, it would be a lot.
You should look up your name on Urban Dictionary because everybody who's ever hated somebody named Michael has written a definition of what a Michael is.
Well, that doesn't sound like any fun at all.
It can be pretty amusing.
Why, though? Why would you want to read something about someone talking shit on you?
Well, I don't know if they'd be specifically talking about you, but they're talking about other people named Michael, and I think that's pretty funny.
And doesn't that make... as they introduce visual humor into an audio medium.
You can read it if you want to. Everybody just look up Michael on Urban Dictionary and you'll suddenly understand.
I will have to take a screenshot of that and put it in the show notes. That's funny.
The words you're not allowed to say while
but here's
podcasting.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Those people that put those definitions in there are loon bags. You just said it yourself.
Yeah.
So why would we listen to what a loon bag says?
Because it's amusing or frustrating.
Or stupid.
Sure.
So I think it's interesting, though, that you do this with words. You have words that there's some words that have a circuit. They make it through the same circuit. They keep getting, one gets replaced by another one, which gets replaced by another one, which gets replaced by another one. And they kind of rotate through. And it's a small cycle. It's maybe 3-4 words. Then you have words that like make an appearance like once a year.
For example?
Like glorious. That's one of the words that comes around about once a year. Sticks around for about a month and then goes away.
I think you just brought it back.
But here's the thing about that. Then you have words like this that just like never really been used before, just fucking come out of nowhere.
Yes.
And it's humorous.
I'm glad you agree.
It's very humorous to me because it's like you think it in your head and you just spit it out. You don't filter it. You just spit it out. And it's kind of funny.
I feel like I probably heard it somewhere and subconsciously liked it. But
that would probably be my guess as well.
Who knows?
I think that that's what we do. We subconsciously spit back things that we've read and heard and seen and things that resonate with us.
Makes sense. I'm not sure what I was listening to that started calling people a fascist, though, but that one stuck pretty hard.
You know, I can tell you why people don't like that lady that we saw at Politicon.
Slightly more description is necessary.
Tomi Lahren.
Oh, well, that's significantly more than slightly more description, but I'll take it.
I went in thinking that she was a loon bag.
You told me straight up.
She's a loon bag.
She's a loon bag. You got me all excited that we were about to go and listen to a loon bag.
And she turned out to be normal, but actually
relatively
better than normal. She was damn smart.
She was reasonable.
Yeah.
And respectful of other views and very vocal about her own.
Right.
And I can respect that.
She had a really politically incorrect comment apparently after we left, and it was, "I've been waiting for my white privilege check to arrive."
No, she said that while we were still there.
Did she?
Right before Clay Aiken went on his rampage about his white privilege.
It was kind of when I read that comment, I was like, ouch.
She said it really quietly, and I don't entirely think she meant to say it out loud, because it was really quiet, but that's what started his whole tirade about white privilege.
But it was like, to me, it was like, ouch. Like, that's basically saying, my white privilege doesn't get me welfare checks. I mean, that's basically what she said. That's how I see it. Do you see it differently?
Pretty much. And also implying that she hasn't just been handed things in her life because she's white.
Yeah. She hasn't been given a check to get by in life.
Precisely.
Was what she was saying. That's kind of interesting. I mean, I think we need more intelligent people who are willing to go there. Here's I'm going to say something that I think is going to be extremely unpopular, but I don't care. And I'll probably make it a point to make this get into social media somehow. But America elected Donald Trump because Donald Trump was different Donald Trump had power and wealth, but to the American people, he was not a politician. Okay.
They elected Donald Trump because America was ready for a loon bag?
They elected Donald Trump because America thought they were getting that person who is like the Tomi Lahren lady that we saw. Tomi Lahren lady that we saw, where she's a straight shooter. This is how she feels. Boom. I'm not sugarcoating it for you. It's my opinion. You can love it or leave it. It doesn't matter. And they thought they were getting that with Trump.
They kind of got a bumbling idiot.
And they didn't really know much about him because Odie, could you chase your fleas somewhere else? You've just been hit by a car, Odie. Anyway.
And now he's looking at the ghosts flying around the ceiling.
They did not know much about him because he didn't have a whole lot to say on the campaign trail.
Okay.
So then they get this president who is a raving lunatic who says the dumbest shit and can't back it up because he's not as smart as he fucking thinks he is.
And definitely not as eloquent as he thinks he is.
But you take a lady like this little blonde lady that we saw, and what is she? Like, my guess is she's under 30.
She's 26. She told us this.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to repeat that and be wrong. So that's why I chose under 30, because it would be right no matter what. So thanks for exposing me.
Well, you looked at me and you were like, she's the same age as you. That's the only reason I remember.
But in any way, here's a chick that's willing to just be like, yeah, I'm waiting for my white privilege check to arrive. It hasn't arrived yet. I mean, like, she's flat out saying exactly what you said, that nothing's ever been handed to her.
Right. Somehow I think I could be friends with her.
I mean, that's what we need more of in this country, though, is intelligent people. Because you know what? Her approach put into the hands of a president would be unstoppable.
You think so, do you?
Well, do you disagree?
I don't really know if I agree or not. I haven't exactly given it a lot of thought.
So give it some thought as we sit here and talk. You got a person who would be the leader of the free world who won't bullshit people. Guess what? Hey, Putin, you know what, man? You're disgusting. Can't stand what you're doing over there. But you know what? There's areas where we need to stay friends for the world's sake. So let's do that. And just be blunt about it. Why hide what you're up to? Just say what's on your mind. You know, that's the thing about people. That's the thing about people today. They can't be direct without getting offended. And that's
because everybody is just constantly offended all the time. And they're mad about it. And they don't think they should ever be offended because they're colossal snowflake-licking buttwads.
Well, that's the problem, is that people do get so easily offended by the stupidest stuff and the politically correct BS that goes on, that, oh, you need to think this way, you need to think that way. It's really stupid. And here's the thing, you know better than anybody that for the last 4 years of his presidency, Obama was not my friend, in my opinion.
Yeah, you bashed him all the time.
But when he did something that I agreed with, I said so. I wasn't fake, and I didn't pretend that it never happened, or I didn't pretend to have a different position on it. I was honest about how I felt about whatever the issue was that he did well at.
Okay.
And I don't feel people do that with Trump. I think people they turn everything into a problem. Like CNN is constantly publishing things like, is blah, blah, blah true? Well, it's only 99.9% true because 0.1% say X. Please. It's 99.9% true. Then for all intents and purposes, it's true. Could we please stop the damn slice and dice games that go on?
But they have to respect that 0.1%, don't you know? Wouldn't want the 0.1% to be offended.
That's society today. That's the problem. And we need to grow up, and we need to face our problems. And you know what? You just gave me the perfect segue into the last part of this show. Let's talk about the Buena Park City Council District 1 election.
I think you need to tell everybody what the fuck you're talking about.
So Buena Park has 5 districts for city council, and 3 of them are up for election right now. In those 3, 2 of them have an incumbent, and one of them is going to be a brand new person, and it's wide open. Person termed out or retired or something. I believe they termed out.
Well, actually, he lives in the same district as district. He lives in District 1 and chose not to run.
His position. Got it. Okay, so here's the thing. The one hotly contested one in District 1 is between the mayor, a Korean American named Young-sun Park, and Dr. Val. I can never pronounce his last name, but a lot of people like Dr. Val. Dr. Val made his name by fighting against that Los Coyotes condominium development.
Well, he didn't make that obvious at the forum at all.
Well, but that's my point, is that's how he made his name. That's why a lot of people love him, okay? And that's why city council was a smart next move for him. And I have a feeling that guy actually is looking to go higher. That's okay. He seems like he would do well as a state senator or an assemblyman. Seriously, I think he would. But they got into this situation, which is the 3-way race, and lots of people are saying that Young-sun Park owns a home in Buena Park, but doesn't actually live in Buena Park. So people are pointing out that residing in Buena Park means a little bit more than like staying here every other weekend.
Well, yeah. So I guess that's why everybody's calling her a carpetbagger.
And that brings us to the carpetbagger point. So there's these signs that were put out saying Sunny Park is a carpetbagger. And they did not have an FPPC number on them. And somebody, the mayor's husband, made it a point every day to go out and check on his signs to see if there were any missing anywhere. He kind of guards them like gold, which they really are. They're expensive.
Well, yeah, they're especially the Virginia Vaughn ones are his property, so guarding them seems reasonable.
Right. So while he's out doing that, someone has seen him doing this many, many times, says, hey, there's a man and a woman, and they're stealing signs. So he thinks that he's all heated up now. He thinks that it's her signs that are being stolen. And so he goes to find the car, and sure enough, there it is. And who is in the car but Sunny Park and some man? The man scurried away real quickly, by the way, when the video turned on.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, the mayor's husband points his camera at the back seat, and there's all of these Sunny Park is a carpetbagger signs in there. A lot of them.
I'd say there's at least 10 that you can visibly see in the video.
Bare minimum. I mean, there was a lot. And they got into this altercation, and he basically says that, yes, she asked, did you pay for these signs? And he said, yes. Now, let's stop there for a second. It doesn't matter who paid for the signs. That doesn't excuse you from that situation. Just like if we were on what she's trying to say is he had no right to report her to the police because they weren't his signs. And if they are his signs, he posted them illegally, and therefore he didn't have any right to press charges against her.
But if I saw someone stealing Deborah's car from our parking lot, it would be every right for me to call the police and be like, some dirtbag stealing this car.
Exactly the point I was going to make.
Just like he said some dirtbag was stealing some campaign signs.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter who did it. who paid for it, who put them there, why they got put there, whether it's true, whether it's false. All of that is a distraction from the real issue, which is she stole the signs.
Theft is theft, lady.
And what really bothers me is the inability to take ownership of the problem. Own it. If you did it, own it. It's that simple.
Well, especially when you have that much egg on your face.
Yeah, there's so much. Like, you know how we always say, oh, I wonder if there was more video before that. I wonder if somebody edited it. I wonder if somebody started the camera late. You remember, we've said that about many videos that we've seen.
Well, of course.
This one, you have proof that they cut the beginning.
Right, because there's one video being taken by one dude, and it shows the minute where she pulls her phone out. And, like, you can obviously tell it's significantly before this other piece of video that she released where it's the dude, like, screaming at her about random shit.
Yeah.
And that either escalated very quickly or there's something in the middle there.
More likely that there's something in the middle.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of reprehensible to treat it that way. But here's the worst part. Okay, we did mention that she's Korean American. And so the concept here that's being floated is that she moved into that area because it's a Korean dominated area. It's something like 47% Korean. And a little disclaimer, I'm bringing this up to tell you what their strategy is, not to tell you what I think. You want to know what I think? Come on the show and ask me.
Seems reasonable.
Don't assume. Now, she does all this. Then anyone says anything about her, they're called a racist.
Like immediately. It is 0 to racist.
And ask yourself, how racist are they for handling it that way?
Well, extremely. I mean, I can dislike whoever I want, but it doesn't make me a racist.
Exactly. And here's the thing, though. Normally in a situation like this, it's like, oh, I don't believe that she's a resident. Oh, you're a racist. Or I think that the mayor would be the better choice. You're a racist. All right. You're arguing that their person isn't the best person and it's an opinion. And so they're going to throw an opinion at you that you're a racist. Follow me so far?
I guess 1% of that is reasonable.
So the point is, to their way of thinking, they don't see anything wrong with calling you a racist because, hey, you got to say your opinion and it's offensive to them. And so they're going to say some opinion to you that's offensive to you. But here's the thing. Here's the big problem. Sunny Park stole campaign signs.
Theft is theft.
That's theft. That's a fact. She got booked for doing it. Handcuffed, taken to jail. Okay? She had the signs in her possession, caught red-handed with the signs. And instead of taking ownership of it, plays the racist thing. I'm sorry. That's your opinion that I'm racist. But see, it's a fact that you're a thief.
Well, and then she pulls out her campaign manager and she pulls out her fake profile. And they're all arguing with people who are smart enough to see the facts. It's just ridiculous.
Well, and then the last thing I saw, the sing-song person, who we all know is
a shared account between her and her campaign manager.
Uh-huh. That sing-song person started threatening libel lawsuits because people were calling her a thief. Well,
but she stole something.
The absolute defense to libel is the truth, and she stole something. It's caught on tape.
And she's been charged with it.
Yeah. Stop it already. Just seriously, just stop it. So, why bring this up? Well, it kind of fits the whole loon bag scenario that we were talking about. You know, why is it that somebody who is an attorney in a respected profession, who clearly must be good at what she does because she's getting, number one, she specializes. She speaks Korean, so I'm sure she gets a lot of Korean clients, which is awesome. I mean, I think if I spoke another language other than English, one of the things I'd be concerned about every time I went to a CPA to do my taxes or to a lawyer is that I'm not understanding what they're saying 100%. I might be missing something,
If you spoke another language, you might think you're missing something? You mean if English wasn't your first language?
Yes, if they speak to me in English.
That wasn't clear the first time around.
Okay, it's like if I was, Hispanic and my native language was Spanish and I barely spoke English, or like I spoke it but kind of not as confident as Spanish.
I worry about this all the time with my first language being Canadian.
Yeah, well, no one understands that, even Canadians. That's why they always say, eh?
Do you know that you say more than I do?
I do, because it drives you crazy.
No, you do it without even knowing.
I know when I do it.
Somehow I doubt that. I'm going to start pointing it out every time you do, though.
You always think you're right when you're not. I mean, always. You always tell me.
You always think you're right and you never are.
Really, I should next time when we have these kind of conversations, I'm going to go to the tape. And I'm going to break it out for you. And we're going to have the next episode will be you explaining why you said what you said when I clearly said something different.
There is no tape of you saying every 5 fucking minutes.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about all the other times that you insist that I said something that
Whatever
I didn't
you say.
And it always comes out in the editing. Always.
That's nice. I really don't care.
You're being a jerk tonight. Even the look in your face has a giant J for jerk.
I'm happy you have that opinion.
Oh, it's like the racism versus thief argument. There's no opinion here.
Yeah, actually there is.
Fact, Jack.
Nope.
Yep. You're being a jerk. Even Pretty Girl knows it.
I should put the microphone up to her belly so everybody could hear her going.
I really don't think anyone would care.
She's a demon.
We know this. She thinks she's the boss of the cats in the house, but she really isn't. Olive is the boss.
She's just the fattest.
She's just the muscle. Like in the mafia, she would be the hitman. You need something taken care of, you send Pretty Girl.
She does have the sharpest claws.
And then, if you need to come up with a plan and look all innocent while it gets executed, you're Parker.
No, you're Olive.
No,
She's
Olive is the mastermind.
Being a demon.
But Olive is the mastermind behind all of it. She's the puppet master. She uses Pretty Girl and Parker as her pawns in her evil chess game.
Okie dokie.
You don't see that? Okay, I'm interested. How do you see it? What's your perception?
I don't really have a perception that contradicts what you were saying. I'm just annoyed that you wouldn't let me finish what I was saying and had to give your perception first.
So finish.
I was going to say, Olive is by far the sneakiest and stealthiest of all the cats. She never gets blamed for anything, even though she does half of the things.
Name one thing that Olive didn't get blamed for, but she did.
No, I won't.
That's because you can't.
Okay, whatever you say.
Hey, you brought up the point. You can't just throw it out there. You got to defend the point.
Actually, I can, because I just did. Then edit it out.
Nope, then you lose.
Okay, whatever you say.
You lose. Who's making all that noise? Yeah, there's that J back again. Odie. Shh.
And with his complaining, good night, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Hasta luego.
Hi everyone, this is Mike, and I truly hope you enjoyed this show. You're able to subscribe to this show on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher so as to never miss an episode. If by chance you did miss an episode here or there, you can catch up on all shows, past and present, by heading over to Yogi's podcastnetwork.com/TNR show. Thanks for listening.